visiting exhibitions is always great because you meet a lot of different people, as I mentioned many times. At FESPA in Berlin last year, I actually met Nils from BHS the first time. Hey, Nils.
Hello, Morten. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. And I just wanted to say, basically, last time when I met you, you spoke about a machine that I hardly could believe because it was like extremely fast, full color, corrugated, printing in one machine. Was that just something that you bragged about back then, or is it actually a machine that exists?
No, that's real. That's a full reality. That's a big commitment that BHS made to develop such a machine. The machine is up and running since March 21 already. And we are very happy with the performance so far.
When you bring machines like this to market, I take that to some extent it's like bridging a lot of different needs in the market, shorter runs, but at the same time uncorrugated, because you can have a lot of variables across the width and all things. But what is the main driver for having these kind of technologies?
So the main driver at the moment, of course, is the change from analog technologies to digital technologies in the end. What is happening here is that we are in a market, in a corrugated market, which is in a way conservative. So people are looking at their equipment, analog equipment, and they think, okay, this is what we have and it still works. So what we are doing is bringing a new technology, digital print technology, inkjet, single pass. And this is what is the driver, of course, for us. And what we do is educating the people on these new technologies.
I actually believe that since I met you last time, we have been at many different places, also with some of the printhead manufacturers. And what I was a little bit surprised about when I started digging into this industrial print segment was basically that, I come from the commercial print, and it's always like the big brands, you know them, we don't have to mention them. But when it comes into the industrial segment that you operate in, you can basically pick and choose the technology that fits the needs you have for the application, the pricing, the quality, the speed, everything like that, right?
Exactly. So this is normally how it works. If I remember when I first was at an industrial print show, that was back in 2014, that was all about how to fiddle these things together, how to fit a printhead and an ink together. At the moment, what we see here is that we see already devices that are manufactured, and this is really great. And as you said, there are many printhead makers and there are many ink makers. But what you need to make sure is that these things fit together. This is really the main effort that you have as a manufacturer of machinery.
But BHS is mainly known for corrugated, right? I mean, for the machines that do corrugated things. So is it new to you to have the printing technology built into it, or?
No, so BHS is the world leader for machines to make corrugated board.
Including the printing side of it, or just
printing it's a kind of startup. It's not a startup anymore, but it started as a startup within the company. Now it's nearly 100 people that are dealing with that project inside the company, and they developed that product. And it didn't start 3 or 2 years ago. It started way before I joined the company, for example. But now we have that product which is nearly ready to be sold to the market.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I didn't phrase my question correctly, but I was just trying to understand that if you look at BHS as a company, I mean, your core business is making machines that creates the corrugated material, right? That has been like for years, basically, right? Yeah. So when you move into adding the printing side to it, that is new to you, right?
That's new to BHS.
Yeah. So when you do that, is that because basically the existing suppliers on the printing side couldn't deliver the sufficient solutions for the need that you saw, or is it just because you want to control a larger portion of the value chain, or why do you think?
So we need to decide here between sheet-to-sheet inkjet printing or roll-to-roll. So what we are doing is roll-to-roll inkjet single pass at high speed, at highest quality. The other thing is printing on sheets with speeds of up to 4,000, 6,000 sheets per hour. This is completely different. And what we saw in the market is the need to provide the customers an industrial solution for inkjet and single pass. And you only can reach that if you print roll to roll.
Yeah, and that I think fits perfectly into how you see your business as being the company that makes the roll-to-roll, also roll-to-roll corrugated. So of course that makes sense. When you go to your, I guess that you have asked a few customers whether this was a good idea, right?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
What was the market reactions from when you introduced it until now they can see a machine in operation?
So still what we see is that the amount of machinery in corrugated board industry is very small. So it's not a big portion of the whole market. But what we see is that we are gaining more and more interest into inkjet solutions in the market, and especially single pass, because the people, they looked at sheet-to-sheet devices and they see that these devices can't cope with the volume. You can only cope with the huge volume they have with roll-to-roll single pass systems.
When I talk to inkjet manufacturers, I often ask them this question because you have the controller technology, you have the print heads, you have the inks, you have the vacuum chambers, you have everything around the technology about it. Are you developing anything in that relation yourself, or is that something that you can take off-the-shelf components?
So some parts you can take off the shelves. This is like at a car manufacturer, though. So they're selling in or buying in products that they can then manufacture to a car. What we are doing, we're partnering with a company that is helping us with building the inkjet print engine, but the rest of the machine is all BHS in-house production.
So that's quite interesting, because I basically, with getting technology from the outside, basically you create a new market for BHS, because of course there will still be a need for BHS without the printing capabilities, but now maybe extending it into an entirely new market. Is that also how you see it, or?
Yeah, it's a new market in terms of inkjet and print, but what is interesting is that it's not new customers to us. So we are providing or educating our installed base for corrugators at the moment. So the customers we know already, these are our future customers for digital inkjet.
Let's throw some numbers. How big is a machine like that? What you're talking about? How long is it?
Oh, you're talking about huge. So it would fit into that hall here,
Really?
definitely,
Okay.
from height and size. So it's 65 meters in length and 15 to 20 meters in the width.
Fantastic. And how fast is it?
300 meters per minute.
Wow. And that is including the corrugating production and the printing?
So if we can do both. We can print roll to roll, and we can print on the board, on the liner, and feed that into the corrugator. Then both systems run at the same speed. If you're printing roll to roll, it's 300 meters.
Fantastic. Must be exciting to work with, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Thank you for meeting me.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.